Hey, what's up everybody? Just wanted to do a quick video on the Arcade 1-Up news today. Honestly didn't foresee this being as much news as we got today, as big a news as we got today, but super excited about that. I know we got some more stuff coming up later on from IR Arcade. I'm not sure about Ag Games, but for right now the biggest story is the newly announced legacy cabinets and the Pro line cabinets. Just gonna do quick overview of the legacy cabinets. If I can get my screen to work right here. Just got home from work, so not super duper prepared for this, but I didn't want it to be long anyway. I know other people are broadcasting right now, and just wanted to get in on this and get my thoughts on some of this stuff. And hey Hollywood, how's it going? My day was pretty good. I actually literally just walked in the door and changed clothes, so jumped in the chair, just ate something real quick, but I appreciate you tuning in. This is my literally fourth video I've ever done, so still learning how to operate everything. Am I going to be buying the 1K Pro model? I might. I'll be honest with you, I'm actually more interested in this MK Legacy cabinet because it has online, so you're going to be able to do online capabilities, but it's at the bargain legacy price. Now I don't think it's going to be $299. I think it's going to be, well, the $299, $315, depending on where you're at. I think it's going to be more than that. One, because obviously it has the riser, and two, because the additional features. But I think it's going to be in the $400 range without a stool, which $400 to be able to play people online, I think it's going to be a really good thing. I'm not really concerned about the buttons and the controls. See if I can, I'll just go ahead and bring this up while I'm talking about it, just for anybody else that watches this later on understand what we're talking about. But Arcade 1-Up announced today their 2022 lineup of legacy cabinets. Depending on which one it is, it's going to have either online leaderboards or online gameplay. The first one with online gameplay being this Mortal Kombat legacy cabinet that I got brought up on the screen here. So like I said, this is the legacy edition, which is going to be their annual value priced cabinet, if you consider that a value price. I personally do now, considering the current climate and economy. So but obviously the differences in this cabinet, beyond just the fact that it's reskinned like the original Mortal Kombat cabinet, it's got online gameplay. Let's see if I can bring up some pictures, but just the one obvious difference to the original cabinets, the artwork on the side with Pacina not being on there, but everybody kind of knew that was going to be the situation. But some additional photos here. One of the biggest differences obviously is the live feature, live online gameplay, but they're also going to be starting to do the molded coin doors instead of the printed, which is another feature that everybody's been asking for. Me personally, I don't really care about the molded coin doors. The printed ones did kind of look a little tacky, but when you're paying $299 for something, or $315, you can't expect them to give you everything. And then as far as controls go, it's going to be the same $299, $315 legacy controls. Actually the same controls they have on every cabinet, but and I'll get to why that's a thing now in a minute when we get to the Pro line versions. But as far as controls go, I personally like the Sanwa controls. I know these aren't Sanwa controls, but I do like modifying my cabinets for my own controls. So I have that experience. It's super easy. It takes like 30 minutes, depending on which ones you put in, because some of them do require you to kind of route out the underside of the deck, you know, the competition buttons and things like that. But yeah, me personally, I'll probably purchase this cabinet, and I'll buy my own upgraded buttons and sticks and put those on myself. And let's see what else I can bring on here. But obviously the control deck, it's got the live feature on there. And so far as the legacy cabinets go, this is the only one so far that they confirmed is online gameplay. If I go back, I'll show the other legacy cabinets for reference. But as you see here, they've got my camera's covering it up. But you got the Centipede Legacy. This is the Atari Legacy cabinet, Centipede skin. Then of course you got your annual Pac-Man. There's always going to be a Pac-Man. That's their bread and butter. It probably pays for every other cabinet that they produce, the production and development and everything. But obviously this is changing the design. I do like the fact that the Atari Legacy and the Pac-Man Legacy are not the same design. So I think them differentiating the cabinet designs makes a huge difference. But the one huge difference between the Atari and Namco Legacy cabinet and the Midway cabinet is the Atari and the Bandai Namco are only going to have online leaderboards. So they'll have online capabilities, but they're not going to have online competition, as far as I know, based on the descriptions. But you will be able to post your high scores and check scores with everybody else on the leaderboards. I don't know if there's some sort of issue with them being able to have like a head-to-head competition with Pac-Man and things like that. I think that personally would be great. I've got a cocktail cabinet that has head-to-head. It's the Street Fighter, but I modified it. And so I've got Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man and pretty much every other head-to-head game that you can think of on there, and I personally enjoy it. My youngest daughter, she likes to play it, and she likes to play head-to-head with me, and I think it's a wonderful experience, and I'd love to personally be able to play against other people head-to-head on Pac-Man. I think it just adds an additional layer, but for whatever reason, they decided not to go with that. There may not be that big of a demand for it, just because, you know, a handful of people in the forums and videos, YouTube community, and things like that. Just because that group may want something particular doesn't necessarily mean that that's the majority of people. That's just the majority of the vocal people. Yeah, Hollywood, I'm pretty sure that is the reason. That it's not a big enough feature for them to sell those. And yeah, I own a lot of the same games on Steam too. I've got a ton of games on Steam that I've got the Capcom Stadium, I think it is. But there's, you know, there's that element, you know. I wonder what the cost is for them to host servers for people to play Miss Pac-Man against each other. I would think it's got to be negligible, but you know, at the same time, money is money, and overhead is overhead. And if they can sell these cabinets, which Atari and Namco are probably two of the biggest names, at least as far as legacy-wise goes, in the video game industry. And now, obviously, Sony and Microsoft have kind of supplanted those guys, you know, in the current modern video game era. But you know, anybody that's over the age of 30, when they think about video games, they're you know, going to think back to Atari and Namco. And then of course Capcom and Midway, and then you lead to Sega and Nintendo, and then of course Microsoft and Sony now. But they're just, as nostalgia goes, they're probably one of the better lineups, and just kind of going over this, and I've got a spreadsheet I put together. I actually sent it out to everybody that I could think of, just because it kind of makes things easier to compare. But there is one specific difference with the Atari Legacy cabinet. And Hollywood, I'll get to your question in just a second. So I'm going to lose my train of thought. But this specific one comes with the Volcano buttons. I don't see if I can bring it up. But those being right here. And that's a throwback to the the original cabinets had the Volcano buttons, and I think that was one of the biggest requests from like hardcore Atari fans, or original fans that actually played these in the arcades, was these Volcano buttons. And if I understand correctly, because I was watching Console Kits earlier, who was I think the first person to even break the story, so I really appreciate him doing that. That there's really nobody that manufactures those outside of I've seen them. I'm pretty sure I've seen them on Etsy, but there's not like a major distributor of Volcano buttons. I'm sure if you really dig deep online, you can find them. Like I said, I've seen them on Etsy and a few other places, and obviously you can probably 3D print some of these on your own. But as far as like a mass distributor of Volcano buttons, I don't think there really is one. And like I said, Console Kits I think kind of confirmed that earlier. But just going back to obviously additional things. As far as I know, I don't think I've seen the white spinner. I know that the original ones had the black spinner, but it's going back, and same thing. The trackball's kind of the same trackball as the previous iteration. The only other difference here is, on the Volcano buttons for the 2022 is the molded coin door, which you can't really see in this photo. But as far as your question, Hollywood. What IR arcade games are you looking most forward to playing with me online? I've bought games every week that they were on sale, and I'll be honest with you, I bought so many I don't remember which ones I bought. But I am going to go do an IR arcade video probably sometime later this week after they talk about whatever it is, the information they're going to break. I don't want to speculate too much because that's already been done. But I'm trying to think what I own. I think actually I can bring it up on my phone. I don't know what I'm thinking. That's one of the best features of IR Arcade is the ability to download your games from your phone. As long as you have your cabinet turned on, it's connected to Wi-Fi. Once you buy the game, you can download it right before you get home, and it'll be ready when you get there. Where is that at? But that's a good question. I own in Hollywood. You'll have to tell me what you have too, because like I said, I've only had mine for about 4 weeks. I bought it when they did the $2.99 or $2.50 $2.99. Let's see, I've got Bad Dudes, Dragon Ninja, Beach Buggy Racing, Bomb Squad, Cisco Heat, Dead Cells, Diver Boy, Double Dragon, Dragon Master, Dragon's Lair. I don't remember which ones of these are the original 11. I got Evo Lane, Evil Lane 2. Actually, I'm really excited for that game. It looks really cool. As far as I understand, it's one of those games that as you progress through the game actually evolves and changes depending on what you're doing. Let's see, Fancy World, Gunbird, Looping, Maniac Square, Mayhem Brawler. That's probably the one I'm most excited for is Mayhem Brawler because it's a modern game, but it's kind of like a throwback to some of the older fighters, and it looks really cool. Outzone, Retromania Wrestling, which I haven't played yet, but I'm also really interested in that. I'm not really a big wrestling fan as far as like the actual sport, I guess it's a sport, goes, but I am a huge fan of like video game wrestling, like WrestleFest and things like that. I remember playing those back when I had Nintendo and everything, and playing with my neighbors and stuff like that, and we always had fun playing those. It's always fun to play things that seem violent but aren't really violent. But that was always fun playing those games and picking people up and throwing them out of the ring and stuff like that. Let's see what else I got. Riptide GP. I played that a little bit. I really like it. R-Type. So that's a classic. I love R-Type. Snowboard Championship. I bought Space Ace. I tried Dragon's Lair, and I'm terrible at it. Like, I'm either gonna have to really, really play that game, or I'm just gonna have to not play it at all, because just trying to play it a little bit is not working for me, because I am not coordinated and I do not have timing, and there's just no way that I'm gonna enjoy that game if I don't really grind at it. Stadium Hero 96. I specifically bought that game because their announcement that at some point in the next few months that the majority of their classic games are going to be online. So I bought a lot of these games with anticipation of actually playing with other people online. So I think that's one I'll enjoy playing with other people. Let's see, the Sydney Hunter, the newer Sydney Hunter, bought that one. Toe Jam and Earl, that's a, I think that's the 90s. Anybody had a Sega Genesis and things like that remembers Toe Jam and Earl. Twin Brats, White Knight. White Knight, I'm really looking forward to playing. I really hadn't had time to get into it yet, but it just looks like a really, really cool game. Wind Up Night 2, and Ys Chronicle 1 and Ys Chronicle 2. So that is everything that I own, and everything's installed. I just haven't really gotten around to it yet, but looking forward to seeing what IR Arcade has to say here in about 40 minutes on their live stream. Looking forward to what they plan on doing to increase their share of the retro gaming industry. I think that they're going to do a good job of that. I think it's going to take time. I think it's going to take more time than what some people would like. But when you're a startup company, there's a reason that I think it's 90 or 80 or 90% of most businesses fail in their first years, because it's extremely hard for a new company to one, just get going, and then two, once you get going, you can't anticipate all the different hurdles and things like that you're going to have to go through in order to not just be successful, not even that point, but just continue to give yourself time to be successful. So I think that they have kind of faced, well, obviously in COVID era, everybody's faced kind of hardships and things like that, but I think they've done a really good job of maintaining their level of consistency and escalating their product. I know that they've only got the one product, but they've done a really good job of with the skins and things like that, and their new features and stuff like that. I do notice that my camera is trying to autofocus a little bit too much, so I gotta fix that. So that's one thing I note I'll take away. But I think they've done a really good job of increasing their what word I'm trying to think of, just getting themselves out there, their live streams and things like that at the end of the week. Those are always really great, and increasing their presence, getting their name out there, getting people excited about their products. They're excited about their products, and when somebody's excited about their own product, it makes other people excited about their product, because if you don't believe in something that you're selling, nobody else is going to either. Nobody's going to buy something if you don't believe in what you're selling, and that's what I think makes them a good company, and I think that's what's going to make them an even better company going forward, is the people that they have in place. One being the owner, Zhang, and then the other guys there. I don't remember their names just off the top of my head, but they're all really excited about what they do, and you can tell they genuinely love it. And I think when people do that, that doesn't necessarily guarantee success, because there's plenty of startups and things like that are excited about what they're doing. They wouldn't be doing it if they weren't. But I do think that is going to put them in a position to most likely be a successful and sustainable company. And as far as your games, Hollywood, Astronix, Ninja Kids, Ninja Slashers, Gun Force 2, 64th Street, Alien Storm. I almost bought Alien Storm, and I remember Alien Storm, and actually I think I have Alien Storm on my CoinOps X, I think, for my @games. But for whatever reason, I either didn't buy it because it went off sale, and I was like, I can just get it later for full price at any point in time, or I just forgot about it. I don't remember which one. Combat Tribes, I'm not familiar with that one. Dark Seal, everybody seems to really like Dark Seal. I didn't buy it just because I bought so many other games that week, but I'll eventually get around to get it. And then Strikers 1945 Plus, I almost bought that one too, because I really like I like shmups, and my youngest daughter, she loves them too. For anybody that watches this later, or anybody doesn't know me, I live in Louisiana, but I work in Arkansas, like 400 miles away from each other. So this house that I'm in right now is my other house. My house with my wife and my 2 kids is 400 miles away. So fortunately, my company that I work for, understands that I don't want to stay in a hotel 365 days a year. I think the most I've ever stayed in a hotel is 150 days in 1 year. And actually, at the time, I had an apartment in one town, basically a full-time 30-day a month reservation in a hotel that I paid for, and then my house in Louisiana. My company obviously paid for the 2 that I use for work. So this is my other house, and this is where all my arcade stuff is, and all my cool stuff that I have on the walls, stuff I think is cool. My wife would kill me if I try to put this on our walls at home. Then, of course, my arcade machines are in another room. This is my bedroom. And at some point, I'm going to do a video where I kind of show everybody all my stuff, the pool table, and pinball games and pinball tables. I've got @games, and I've also got the Star Wars, which I modded with the 3-in-1 to have the other games. But my @games is the one I'm definitely going to do a video on. And I've got a really nice new camera that I'm looking forward to using. I'm going to try to do a video on that. I may not do a video like specifically on the camera, but I'm going to do a video using the camera to do my @games and things like that. And I'll probably just kind of show it off on there afterwards while I'm editing the videos and things like that, because it's really cool. Cryotech has created his own Discord server to focus on online gaming. I'm definitely interested in that. Hollywood. And then at any point, if you want to send me a link to that, obviously I'm using this YouTube channel for my online videos and things like that, but my other YouTube channel, my personal, just one, I've got my family stuff and things like that on. It's just under my regular, my name's Scott Gray. So you can send me stuff to that too. And then I don't know if we follow each other on Twitter or not, but same thing. It's just under I've got one for my gaming stuff. It's Matt Astra _gaming, and then my personal one, it's @JScottGray. And you can always send me stuff on there. And I think you guys, or my Discord name is Matt Astra, just with no space in between the Matt and the Astra, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, you can send it to me on there. And then you guys have a channel too, don't you, Hollywood? I know that you guys put a name out there a few times. I can't remember what it was called. I'm sorry. I've just been super busy the last few weeks, and I know you guys have kind of name dropped it a few times and stuff, but I haven't had a chance to subscribe. Or is it a Discord? And I know this is kind of running behind the feed and the questions and things like that. So if you get a chance, just kind of let me know, and I'll be happy to watch you guys. The reason I created this channel, I created it a long time ago, but I've just started using it for the reason that I am out of town 75% of the time, away from my family. So This is just something for me to do to kind of pass the time till I get home to those guys. Because I'm here 3 weeks out of the month, so I only see my family like 12 weeks out of the year, which is crazy. But it's sometimes you got to do what you got to do to survive. Yeah, I'm definitely interested, Hollywood, in your 80s, 90s rock playlist. I've actually got CoinOps next to, or it's not next to, it's Diamonds. CoinOps Diamonds Jukebox that I play on my at games, and I love that. I love 70s, 80s, and 90s music, specifically 80s, because I was a kid of the 80s, so that was a big music time for me. But I love playing the jukebox stuff on my at games, and I just started using the jukebox mode on the iArcade, which is really cool. The Bluetooth feature. If people watch this and they don't know what we're talking about, I don't know what my 4-digit Discord code or friend code is. I'll send it to you later. I send messages a lot on Discord, but I don't really use it that much outside of that, so I don't really know how to do that. But I'll figure it out and I'll send it to you, and I appreciate that. But I think I'm going to let me just wrap up kind of my initial stuff that I was talking about. I want to, not that I don't enjoy sitting on here talking, but I do want to watch iArcade's stream at 6 o'clock. It's almost 5:30 my time, so in 30 minutes Central Time. Definitely want to see that, and I also want to see some of the other YouTube streamers and things like that. I know that they're gonna do some live stuff and make some more videos, and MCAP and Rascal and all those guys doing their stuff. I think they're gonna do some stuff at their iArcade tonight, so I definitely want to watch that. But yeah, that's another thing. I think that was what I was trying to get at originally, is spending time starting to do this channel kind of helps me get through the time away from my family, and then obviously watching other people on YouTube, which is kind of how I got into this. Really helps me pass the time. It gets kind of lonely sitting in a house by yourself, just kind of passing the time to get to the end of the month till you can go home. Do have one coworker who shares the house with me, and he's in the other room, but he's not really a computer guy. He really likes golf and things like that, so he's not particularly interested in this. Did you write down my friend code on Discord? No, I haven't. I will, but I'll message you after this, because I know you're going to be online with all the stuff coming up. But let's see. Let me wrap this up. But let's see. Other than that, I do have one spreadsheet I put together. I didn't get a chance to talk about the Namco cabinet. Another feature that I did not cover is the new 2022 Legacy cabinets are going to have a 14-game lineup instead of just a 12. So you do have 2 additional games. So what I did earlier is, where did I put it? Put together a spreadsheet comparing all the Legacy 2021 cabinets to the 2022, and so just based on this, you can go back and look and see the new Atari Legacy 2022 Legacy has the same game lineup as the 2021, with addition of Super Breakout and Lunar Lander. So those are the additional 2 games that are going to make up the 14. Thanks, Hollywood. I'll write that down here in a few minutes, and I'll hit you up as soon as we get done. And then as far as the Namco cabinet, same game lineup as the original Namco Legacy, but it also includes Galaga 88 and Rolling Thunder. And then the biggest one, I think, is going to be the Midway Legacy, the Mortal Kombat cabinet. Its 2 additional games is the regular Mortal Kombat 3. It had the Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 on there, but a lot of people requested Mortal Kombat 3, so that's a huge thing. And then Clax, which I'm not really familiar with. I know that's an older game, but obviously it was a game that was available, and I'm sure some people are gonna enjoy it. I know it's an older game, but I'm just not familiar with it. Um, I have no interest in this game with no online multiplayer. It seems pointless to me. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Um, I think it's just online leaderboards. Kind of as we kind of talked about earlier. I mean, a little Wi-Fi module inside a PCB that they've already developed. It probably costs next to nothing for them to do. So it's just something that I'm sure a certain percentage of the online community was asking for, and they're like, okay, well, it's going to cost this, $7 extra a cabinet to add this feature. You add an extra button, an extra hole, and then a Wi-Fi module that plugs into the PCB, and you've got an additional feature that is going to appease a small percentage of the population. But and like I said, that's what makes the Midway Legacy so huge, because you're going to be able to compete against people online, and it's going to be at their base price point. And I think that base price point is going to go up. I don't think you're going to get a Midway Legacy with online features for $315, and the fact that it comes with the riser leads me to believe that it's going to be the higher price of the Legacy, just for that. And then I think they're going to add in some additional costs for that feature beyond what it actually costs for them to put it in. But so yeah, I'm thinking these are going to be at least $400. $399 for that would be a good price without the stool. I don't think somebody will complain about it, but I don't think a lot of people would complain about a Mortal Kombat cabinet that can be played online for $400. And the stool thing, some people love the stools. The only stool I've bought was a discounted Ninja Turtle stool for like $20. Otherwise, I'm not buying the stools. There's so many good stools you can buy from Amazon or Wayfair, or even ordering through Walmart, that are just better quality, more comfortable, and nowhere near the same price of the Arcade 1-Up stools. That's the one gripe I have with them, is they really overprice their stools. But that pretty much wraps up the Legacy stuff. And I'm just going to mention it real quick, just for if anybody watches this, it's not up to date on everything that came out today. But the last thing is, and technically the biggest thing, but there's just not as much information out about it yet, so I haven't covered that really, is their Pro line cabinets. I'm not gonna pay $1,000 for that, but I'm not saying it's not worth that. It's just my wife would kill me if I spent $1,000 on an arcade cabinet. I'll definitely get it if or one of them. I'm not specifically Killer Instinct, although Killer Instinct is a great game. I don't have a lot of nostalgia for Killer Instinct. I played it a few times on console, and I probably played it, in the arcades when I was a teenager. But this came out when I was an older teenager, and at that point I was kind of more into like cars and girls and playing sports and things like that. So I didn't have a lot of free time, and so I just don't have that nostalgia for Killer Instinct like I do for some of the older games. And then actually some of the newer games that came out after that, because once I got into college, I did have a little bit extra time, in the evenings and things like that, to play some of the newer games. So got my first PlayStation when I was in college, PlayStation 1, and lived in a fraternity house, and we had, amongst us, had every single console that you could possibly think of, and probably every game too, because it was like 40 of us, 30 or 40 of us, and 7 of us lived in the house. And so we were constantly playing video games. I can't tell you how many times we played Tecmo Bowl in 1 year, and how many times, obviously we were great friends, and we would never do it, but almost came to blows playing Tecmo Bowl and just how frustrating and that game would get with the ability to throw the football like 100 yards across the field. But that's some of my best memories in college, is playing video games with my fraternity brothers. Obviously, we had really cool stuff too, parties and things like that, and intramural sports and stuff. But that's some of my best memories. And Killer Instinct kind of just fit in between those two, so I just kind of slipped past me. But I and the fact that the Mortal Kombat is going to have a legacy price cabinet that's going to have the online gameplay, and the fact that I can, in about 30 minutes, I can swap out the joysticks and buttons myself and not pay the additional costs. So that's where the value comes in for that legacy cabinet for me. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't buy this cabinet. I think lots of people should buy this cabinet. And I think at some point they're going to announce the Pro Line Mortal Kombat, and I'm hoping that they do it this week. I'm thinking they didn't announce every single thing they're going to today. One simple fact that there's no 2022 Capcom Legacy cabinet that got mentioned, and then also, and I'm not gonna have time to cover it, but if you go back and watch Toycade's video from today, there's actually a Pro Line Golden Tee that hasn't been announced yet, that the information was probably given to him, but I guess you could say it was leaked. But he's got a really good video on that. And I've got the original Golden Tee, which I actually modified the Button Masher Golden Tee, which is really cool. But that's probably, I think it's my second or third cabinet I bought. I've got Space Invaders, which I modified. Was my first cabinet, and then I got the Marvel Superheroes. I got it on clearance. Everything I've bought so far, other than the At Game Spinball, I've bought on clearance. I'm a bargain shopper. I enjoy that. I enjoy getting something for less than the full price, and then I like to spend time and modify it and make it better and get value out of me doing some of the work. So that's kind of my thing. I don't knock anybody that wants to buy these things already completely put together, and I don't knock anybody that buys the base model cabinets and gets somebody like Bobby Vu or B Kong or somebody like that, whose channels and work are awesome. I don't knock anybody who pays them to do it for them. 99 Lives getting control decks, and their Golden Tee control deck is awesome. It's just probably a little bit out of my price range for what I can not what I can pay for it. I can buy whatever I want. I just I work hard, so I want a significant portion of my money to go into my retirement, so I don't have to do that forever. So everything I buy is on a kind of case-by-case basis, whether it's worth the amount of money to me or not. But I think this thing looks great. I don't think it's going to look anything like that, because the render, I don't know if my mouse can show up on screen or not, but this is obviously a render. And it looks like they actually fixed in this picture, the word Killer Instinct on the front is in the right direction. But if you look at some of the videos earlier from some of the people that posted when this first story kind of broke, they actually accidentally put the word Killer Instinct upside down on the render, which is just kind of funny, because you know how it is when you do these mock-ups. It's somebody on a computer with a 24-inch screen, or maybe even a 32-inch screen, trying to do all this stuff. And I know you can blow it up, but mistakes get made. But I don't think it's going to look anything like this, because one, I don't think that they're going to have the panels. And maybe now thinking about it, maybe this is not the case, but I would think that these panels would be continuous. And the only thing I can think is why it would look like this is because they can't pack it in the boxes to be shipped and sold at Walmart and other retailers if it's above a certain length and width. I know length for sure, but maybe there's a width requirement too. And it looks like, based on this render, it looks like this is this piece here is almost like a separate piece that like attaches to it, and you can't see it in this photo or this render, and they actually blacked out, which is kind of funny because people were complaining earlier about the screws showing up, but these are blacked out on this render. But it looks like it attaches right here. You can kind of see. I can't blow this up, but it looks almost like this is a separate piece that like attaches to that to make it deeper, which may be the case. And then also too, these pieces on the side, they're a matte finish as opposed to this black here, and it doesn't necessarily go. So I don't know if that's supposed to be a separate piece and it just happens to look like that, or if they had to do this to make it bigger and fit in the box in the appropriate dimensions to sell it at the retailers, and that's why it looks like that. But I would hope that they make this the same finish if it is a separate piece as the side, and that's not just a artifact of the render. Because if you look at the bezel, it's a matte finish too, and those are typically a glossy finish. But just a quick recap, because I definitely got to get off of here if I'm going to do anything else tonight, because I haven't even eaten dinner yet. I ate a Twix. But these are, obviously, like we said, this is the Pro line. Has a 19-inch screen as opposed to a 17-inch screen. Has upgraded speakers. I know that's a thing that's kind of come up a lot in the past. Is just either the speaker quality or the consistency of the speakers. Me personally, I have no problem with the speakers. I do like the fact that they went to stereo speakers instead of just the mono speakers like in the Space Invaders. Then no riser, so obviously this the base is one continuous piece, or at least it's two pieces that are made to fit flush together to make it not look like it has a riser, which is a feature that iArcade already does. And just kind of comparing those two, and I think that's the better way to go. I understand why they have the separate risers for some of the cabinets. One, obviously, for the ability for it to fit in the box in the appropriate dimensions, but two, these originally were kind of marketed toward a younger audience, I think, and a lot of people do have younger kids that like to play these, and they can't necessarily play them standing up at a height with a riser or with this extended base like this has. So they make it so you have the option to either have it lower to the ground and have a child be able to play it, or put it on a riser and make it so it's more comfortable for an adult. And obviously people still think that those aren't tall enough, but they've kind of fixed the aesthetics of that. I still saw in some of the photos people were saying that hey, I'm 6 foot this or 6 foot that or whatever, and this is probably still going to be a little too short for me or for whatever reason. And I understand that, but when they build these things, they have to build them for like a mass audience, and people come in all different sizes. But me personally too, I sit when I play. I sit on stools. I've got a stool for every cabinet I have, and like I said, I've got really nice ones I bought on Amazon that are, I would say, professional quality, restaurant quality, bar room quality stools. So I really enjoy those. But just kind of wrapping this up, it says enhanced. I think it says enhanced marquee. That may not be the appropriate word or the word they used. Maybe they said upgraded marquee, but hopefully, the biggest complaint with the marquees is the blacks aren't like very black. And some of the other marquees that I personally, I think the Star Wars marquee looks great. Some of the others with brighter colors, I think those look great. It's just the whites and the black colors either bleed through a lot or just kind of feel washed out on some of their cabinets. So hopefully that just means they fix that. I can't imagine what else that they would actually do to it to make it enhance, other than maybe having a little bit better LED lights in there than the little strip. But those are kind of nice as is. Other than that, the Suzo Hap controls, sticks and buttons, and those are premium and already come installed in the cabinet. And I do know that they tried to sell the Marvel superheroes with upgraded buttons direct sale from their site, and that didn't go over quite as well. But this being online play and them kind of starting to build momentum with the online community, the community building momentum, I know that a lot of people were wanting this for the fighting caps, for the online fighting caps, like the how that Street Fighter is, the Big Blue Street Fighter is now. But other than that, oh, another big feature that they added in was these coin doors. Yeah, it's still a faux coin door, but the coin slots are lighted. That's really cool. That's one thing that, if I did have a faux coin door on a cabinet, I was going to, if I get one in the future, it's like that. I was going to drill the holes and install LEDs to make the buttons lighted. And I know Retro 530 has got a kit made specifically for that he sells. I saw a review on that the other day, and that was pretty simple fix. Just a couple of holes drilled and pop them in and plug them into a Y splitter. But these already come like that. But the other feature is the fact that they are tied into the start buttons for the player 1, player 2. So you can actually press the button to do player 1, player 2, which technically isn't necessary because you got player 1, player 2 buttons up here. But it's just a nostalgia thing of, that action of, putting a quarter into the machine, putting a credit in the machine and pressing into that coin slot. So that's just the nostalgia thing that people ask for. And then, hey, they delivered it. So, kudos to them. But you know what? I think I'm going to call it good on this video. And man, Hollywood, I really appreciate you, watching this. And like I said, this is my 4th video. And I don't even know where all the buttons are on my OBS software to press and things like that, and I don't know all the features of my cameras, and I don't know how to do all the lighting really well, sound, things like that, cameras. But I want to learn it, and I kind of want to learn it myself. I have been asking some people how to do certain things, but it's kind of a DIY thing to kind of have. And as you feel inclined to do so, please subscribe, hit the like button, and thank you, Hollywood, for being one of the first people to live view my show and one of the first people to comment too. So 2 firsts in one day. I think I got one offline comment earlier, and that was the first time I got a comment at all. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I am Mad Astro, and this is my channel, Mad Astro Gaming, for all things retro and modern gaming and pop culture. And I look forward to doing more in the future and talk to you guys. And I will see you guys next time.